Do you guys know that Supergirl has a super horse that is not actually a horse, but it's a man, and that man was cursed to be a super horse? Because I didn't until reading Woman of Tomorrow, and this is by far one of the best story arcs I've ever read. The story starts off a bit slow, and the first couple of pages is not really about Supergirl, it's about a girl named Ruth, and her father was killed. Ruth Mary Knoll is now looking for or to pay a hitman to kill the guy who killed her father. His name is Kren. It is very, very well drawn. Actually, that's an understatement. It is an incredible piece of artwork to look at. Like I said, has a bit of slow pacing here and there. For me, looking through it, it has it's like an older style print on the page. A lot of new comic books have like a very glossy finish. They shine. They've got like this paper that looks like it came out of the world's best printer. It just has this older newspaper style to it, where it feels like a newspaper. You can smell the fresh ink off the book. It almost makes everything like a little bit duller, but it somehow finds a way to make the colors pop and shine. Everything just looks so beautiful. It's like when I watch Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time, or even like an Interstellar, where you're just seeing things that you never thought you would see, or never thought you'd have the capability to see, and it's just so awe-strikingly beautiful. Introduction to Supergirl in this book is pretty funny. We meet Supergirl in a bar, and Supergirl is wasted, and she meets Ruth Mary Knoll, and she's just completely drunk, and she at first does not want to go on this quest. Ruth Mary Knoll also didn't ask her first. She asked this other guy who was very rude, and that's what got Supergirl involved in the first place. She actually flew all the way to this planet because it has a red sun, so that would dampen her powers, just so she could get drunk on her 21st birthday. And this book takes a lot of different twists and turns that show you just how amazing of a hero and a character and a person Supergirl really is. There's also a good level of comedic timing in the early parts of this book, and it stays pretty consistent throughout till the end. Supergirl is the funny character at the beginning, and then Ruth Mary Knoll ends up kind of being the funny character at the end, which is weird because Ruth Mary Knoll, she's very dry and she speaks very eloquently, and it's boring. She's boring. But her contrast to Supergirl, who is punchy, comedic, and confident, is needed. Or else, like if we had two characters like that, it would be too overpowering, and the read would just feel too campy. The tides kind of turn because Ruth learns from Supergirl throughout this. Like this is a months, if not years, long journey. Supergirl rubs off on Ruth a lot, and you get to see that. You actually get to see Ruth grow into this very confident character throughout the book, and it's really nice. And I wasn't expecting that. To be honest, when I started, I'm like, oh my goodness, am I gonna have to go through 6 issues of this? It's not bad. It's just immature character. That's all it is. And you get to watch her mature, and the payoff is there. It's right there, and it's great. For the first half of the book, Ruth is trying to understand Supergirl. I should have said this earlier, but the story is narrated by future Ruth, and they make that very clear. There's no secret there. And it's actually one of the very few issues I have with this 6 issue run is that I knew Ruth was going to be okay the whole time. It took away from the fights, it took away from any danger, any peril, any knowing that something bad was going to happen. I was like, oh, well, it's not because Ruth is narrating this book. How could something bad happen? And don't get me wrong, bad things still happen, but I knew that she was going to be okay. And it became very clear that even though this was a Supergirl story, this was Ruth's story. And that was really cool because I got a Supergirl comic that one, I'm not a fan and I wasn't expecting to read, that I'm now totally a fan of. And then it's not even really a Supergirl comic, it's more about this girl, Ruth. I'd say one of the main takeaways for me in this book is that Supergirl is not this campy character that I thought she was. When I think of DC Comics, when I think of Superman, pretty much when I think of anybody that's not Batman, I don't think of a dark, brooding character. I think of like a very confident, campy character where nothing can go wrong. They're just super fantastical, and they've got all these powers and they can't be beaten, or even if they are beaten, they're going to get back up and be 10 times stronger. This proved me completely wrong. Supergirl is confident and, yes, a little campy at times, but she's genuinely funny. She's very assertive when she needs to be, incredibly strong. Even when she doesn't have her powers, they end up on a planet with a green sun, which is basically just blasting kryptonite at her, and she was able to pull through all of that, obviously with the help of Ruth. But it was very telling of her character that I won't give up. I won't back down even when things are bad. And she has these very good and strong values that I really respected throughout the book. And she's not just a good person because she's Supergirl and she's Superman's cousin. She's a good person because she's been through all of this hardship. Her whole planet blew up, her family blew up, everybody died and was sick of disease. And she was there the whole time. She went through this. She watched everything she knew and loved just explode into nothingness, and now she takes the time to defend another planet. If anything, that's the story, the origin story of a villain, is that everything goes wrong, everything blows up, everything is bad. I'm going to now do that to other people. But she doesn't. A hero and a villain are the same character. It's just what they choose to do with their trauma or their origin, right? A hero has bad things happen to them all the time, and so does a villain. A villain inflicts all of their struggles and hardships onto other innocent people, where a hero takes that and goes, I don't want that to happen to anybody else. I want to protect them from that. And Supergirl in this comic is the epitome of that. I loved looking at this as much as I loved reading it. There were so many fun colors. I felt like I was in space. There's one scene where Supergirl, like, this was so weird, but there was a lot of weird things in this, but this one was strange. She's on like a train, a space train, we'll call it, commuting with a bunch of aliens. And she ends up asking one of them if they have any red. And I'm like, what's red? This doesn't make any sense. Red is like a red pill of red kryptonite. And to most other beings, a red pill of red kryptonite is just like taking like a trip. I would imagine like a mushrooms or an acid is kind of how it's explained, as they just see things or they think they have these like hallucinations. But for a Kryptonian, it like transforms them and gives them a lot of power. And I know red kryptonite from the show Smallville just kind of made Clark a dick, but a really strong dick. And it didn't do that for Supergirl. She took this pill and she became this like really bright orange phoenix. And this is why I segued into this from color, is because this is one of the coolest, most amazing looking comic book panels I have ever seen. She's like the Phoenix from Harry Potter on steroids. She looks so awesome. And then she fights a dragon. So, and it was a space dragon. It's like this iridescent pink and purple dragon, and it looks awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. It's amazing, and it was just a way to showcase the beautiful art in this book. And a lot of what was in this book was Ruth was this kid, and Supergirl is kind of this like very confident adult figure, and Ruth doesn't know how to take care of herself in the very beginning, but she learns. And when they get to this green planet and Supergirl can't do a single thing, she's like barely even awake. Ruth really proves that she can not only take care of herself, but she can take care of Supergirl. But it's a wonderful tool for storytelling just to show how much a character has progressed and matured up until a certain point where you see them do what they could not do before in a short period of time. And I thought that that was really cool because up until that point, it didn't really feel like she had grown up, but she was starting to punch up. She was starting to push back to Supergirl a little bit on this mission and on this journey to say, like, I can do this. I can take care of myself. And then the universe provided her with an opportunity to show that, and she did, and she aced it. Look, I know I started this video kind of making fun of the super horse. It's a little ridiculous. I'm not a huge DC fan. I love The Flash. I love Green Arrow. I love a lot of the characters, but I don't read a lot of the comics. So I don't know if the Super Horse has been around for a while, but that threw me for a loop. I didn't like it until I found out that the super horse was not a super horse. It was actually a man cursed to be a horse, and I just thought it was really ridiculous and funny all at the same time. And I thought if this book is going to have any humor or have anything be thrown out of left field, this was perfect. It didn't need any further explanation. It didn't need to win me over. It just needed to be there to alleviate some of the pain that this book had put me through up until that point. I didn't write a lot of notes on issue 7 and issue 8, so I'm pulling a lot from memory here. They were wonderful. It was interesting, and there were some things that bothered me, and I don't want to spoil the whole story for people who might want to read it. Fuck it. Come the end of the issue, she can't bring herself to do it. And it's not because she's weak. It has nothing to do with her character. Well, it has everything to do with her character. It's not because she's weak. It's because she's now understood that getting vengeance and killing this man is not going to give her what she needs. I don't know. The very ending of the book for me, I thought was odd. Supergirl traps Kren in the Phantom, I think it's the Phantom Realm, or the Phantom Zone. She traps him in the Phantom Zone to teach him a lesson, and he's trapped there for hundreds of years, which is, I guess, maybe dozens of years in our time. So she goes and meets up with an older Ruth, and they let him out of the Phantom Zone. Like, oh my God, Supergirl, you saved me. Like, he's on his hands and knees. He's forgiven. He's totally reformed. He is now not this monster that he was for 7.5 issues of this book. And then he says the same thing to Ruth, like he apologizes finally. And then at the end of the book, Ruth kills him. And I didn't really like that. We spend all of issue 7 and 8 for the most part with Ruth not being able to do it, and you're thinking, wow, she has gained so much strength and she has learned so much from Supergirl that she's not going to stoop to the level of this terrible person that took her father from her. And then she gets a little bit older and she just does it anyway. I feel like it just contradicted the point we got to. She wasn't the character that we got to watch mature. So we read this beautiful book up until the last 2 pages, and then it's just like it goes back on everything. She's not this fun character that we knew. She's not this character that she grew up to be. And she does the one thing that she couldn't do for the whole book, but the reason she couldn't do it was a good reason. So why are we going back? But I loved everything else about it. That's my only issue. My only issue with the book was the very end. But I don't know, like I would recommend this till the cows come home. I thought it was fantastic. There's just something about that ending that I just didn't really like. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you could tell me better in the comment section. I love this book. It's amazing. I'm a Supergirl fan now. I'm probably going to read some Superman comics too and rewatch the Superman movie in preparation for the Supergirl movie Woman of Tomorrow with Millie Alcock. Please change my mind because I want to love this book and I want to give it a 10 out of 10. It was a 10 out of 10 until the very end.